we have the next up we have the Spyro Trifecta, which it's not gonna be quite the same as an NG Plus Trifecta would be, strictly because Spyro 2 NG Plus is a bit odd to watch. It's not really that entertaining. So instead, we're gonna be doing essentially what is Spyro 1 NG plus any percent, Spyro 2 NG plus 40 orb, as well as Spyro 3 NG plus. It's going to be really fun. It's going to take about 2 hours to go through all of these runs, and we're going to have RandyBobandy here on commentary for you guys, so hopefully you enjoy.
Hi guys, I'm Randy. I'm not running. It's DrHouse running, but DrHouse does not have a mic or can't commentate, so it's me. So I think to start, we're just gonna show House getting level storage to show actually what it is. So he can go ahead and kind of start that whenever he wants, and I can explain it. So level storage, of course he gets it first pause. Level storage is basically what it sounds like. We're gonna store a level, and what we're gonna do is he paused on the first frame of entering the Gulf's Overlook portal, and then he exited level. And what that does is that puts us out front of one of two speedways in Autumn Plains. It puts us out in front of Icy or Metro, and he got Icy Speedway because it was an orange screen. And then during that cutscene, he had to move back into the portal. Then he paused, quit, retried, and then skipped the cutscene. And now that he doesn't have any power-ups, he has to take a Death Abuse to start it. Because right now, technically, he's in Icy Speedway. Even though we're in Gulp, he's actually in Icy Speedway. But now we can fly, we have Supercharge, we have Fireball. So what he's going to do is he's going to warp to Gulp, and then he's going to exit and actually start. So we're all good to start, so I guess I'll give a little countdown. So 3, 2, 1, go. So basically what he did there was he stored those power-ups of a flight where he can supercharge and he can fly everywhere. And you can, because SRT is all one game, like it's all in one kind of session, you can actually take supercharge to any of the other games. So right now we're in Spyro 1, but we have the supercharge ability. Right there, he was actually trying to go for a fly and skip because he, as you can tell right now, the Stonehill loading screen is quite long, and all the loading screens in Spyro 1 are generally a bit longer than Spyro 2 and 3. So, but if you pause on the first round of entering, kind of similar to that Gulf's Overlook one, you can actually quit game, continue, and you'll get instantly loaded in. So this is Spyro 1, new game plus any percent. The goal for this is obviously getting through the levels just as quick as possible, and we can do that really quick with Supercharge. The only thing that changes once you touch a dragon is you lose your flight power-up. So you have to kind of manage that if you want to get a different dragon that's up higher first, then you have to fly them first. But basically, we're collecting 10 dragons, and then we're going to go to Peacekeepers. And as we saw earlier in the day with Sable in her 80 dragons run, there's a dev portal that's just outside of the... Okay, so there, he got a fly and skip, so he paused on the first time entering town square, quick game, continue, and it saves some time. But basically, we're gonna get to Peacekeepers, and we're just gonna fly to the dev portal, because we can fly. There's no reason why we can't just fly directly out of bounds to it. Normally, if we were doing actual any percent, you'd have to do a wall glide to get on top of an out of bounds area, and then do a bunch of kind of movement around just on the outskirts of the map. And also, like Sable said, we have access to the guidebook at all times, so we can just guidebook directly out of town square back to Artisans. And we do this jump here, and Sable probably explained as well. If you do that jump on Nestor, we can actually skip Nestor, so we don't have to hear him talk, which saves probably something like 20 or 30 seconds. I forget how long his actual thing is.
Are you ready to go?
And you also can do that on Magnus at the end, but it's Magnus. We don't collect that dragon. So now we're in Peacekeepers. And yeah, that's That's Artisans. That's how quick it can be. It'd be a couple minutes. And we're just gonna. You just take a direct line right to the dev portal and then go to the North Nexus. I will say that one of the reasons why he also did level storage and stored it on a completed file. So the reason why we store it on a completed file is because you can see in that top right the timer. If you do it on a game that doesn't have like the speedways completed, you'll have the 30-second timer counting down rather than counting up. So this is like, it's kind of like an infinite timer going up. It's actually about 10, like if you get to 10 minutes, you'll reset, but you shouldn't ever really get to 10 minutes in a level, especially with level storage. So now we're going into Nasties. I believe he talked to the balloonist. So when you talk to the balloonist, you can actually exit this balloon a bit early, but I guess maybe he didn't. You can sometimes get locked out of it, but another thing I should mention. Oh, he got the pause, but then he moved his cursor down one and hit continue. So another thing I'll explain, and good question, Kaz. There's so many things I have to explain. Sir, so Sparks is invisible, so he has to be always cognizant of what level his Sparks is at, whether it's obviously yellow, purple, blue, or green, or at 0. You can't see it. We run on 30 FPS. For this, it doesn't particularly really matter because he has fly, and supercharge. But for normal times, basically how SRT works is that physics are tied to like FPS. So you jump higher on lower FPS. So you jump higher on 30, but certain things like wall glides and gems fall a bit faster on 50. But for House, it's just, he always plays on 30. So he's gonna try to go, and he got it again. So he skips the flying animation of Twilight Harbor. You also, if you pause on the first frame of entering the vortex, you can skip the flying out animation, which is something I found. But yeah, now we're into We're gonna be into Nasty Nork. You definitely, yeah, you could play this category at a higher frame if you want, but I think it's a bit easier to set up level storage and get these frame perfect pauses that he's trying to go for on 30 rather than 50 or higher. Normally people don't play on 60 also, especially for Spyro 1, because it breaks some levels like Alpine Ridge. But yeah, also with level storage, so we did it on Gulp, and it could have put us out in front of Metro or Icy. If you do the frame perfect pause on the Ripto door, you'll get put out in front of Canyon, and if you do the pause on Crush, you'll actually get put out in front of Glimmer. And it doesn't work on console, the level storage on Crush, because that one gets put out in front of Ocean. But on PC, we get put in front of Glimmer, and no one's ever done it yet where they've gone from Glimmer to Ocean Speedway blind. So we don't know if it works. It probably doesn't, but some madman needs to find that out. This is a little scary because Nasty kind of rubber bands because they want him to stay in front of you. So you kind of have to be careful to not just like fall off, because supercharged movement is a bit harder to control than just regular movement. And then this area is a bit scary just because you don't want to die. So he's gonna take it a little more careful just because he doesn't want to restart. But this is about to be the end of Spyro 1. And that's the end of Spyro 1. So you can beat Nasty in about 7 minutes. We run loadless, we don't run RTA on SRT. Because RTA would be too difficult. We're also gonna release Magnus because Magnus is the boy. Look at him. Look at how thick this man is. I'm gonna let him speak.
I believe this is Nasty's treasure hoard, but the gate will only open if you have found everything in the Dragon Kingdom. Come back when you have reached 100%.
So the thing about running ahead of Nasty, because you can actually just get up to the pedestal where he ends on that chase sequence, it's actually slower because then he won't rubber band as much. So you want to stay like either slightly in front of him or like keep kind of pushing him forward. So now we're gonna start Spyro 2. So 7 minutes in, we're already in the second game. So our goal here, obviously, we have to collect. We're going to be doing 40 orbs because it shows off a lot of the interesting movement and interesting ways to do these things. So he has Fireball, so he can make all these snipes, and he has Flight. The only thing is that after he has this cutscene and talks to the guy, he's going to lose his Flight power-up. He'll still have Supercharge and Fireball, obviously, but he, yeah. So we're going to just casually jump across this. You can actually make this jump in a normal any percent, but with Supercharge it becomes trivial. But he's just gonna get these gem lamps, and that's the first 2 orbs we're gonna do. We're not gonna do the chasing the lizards and shooting them down because that's way too slow for this. So in Spyro 2, obviously, our main collectibles are gems, talismans, and orbs. So we're gonna collect 14 talismans throughout the whole run. We're gonna collect 40 orbs, and all he needs to finish the game for gems is he only needs 800 gems. Because we don't need to buy Swim, we don't need to buy Climb, we don't need to buy Head Bash, and we don't need to buy Aquarium. So you only need 800 gems for Shady and Zephyr, because unfortunately there's no way to like skip into those portals early like there is for Aquarica. So he kind of just goes, like there's not really much gem collection, you kind of just hit 800 gems on your way. So Idle Springs, normally you have to kill these guys, or kill like the enemies who are blocking the doors and stuff, but he's just gonna go, he's actually gonna go right to the end of level Talisman. And then he's gonna go do the Hula Girls, because normally you have to kill 8 enemies to start the, or to activate the Supercharge gate, but we already have Supercharge, so we don't need it. There are certain orbs that we'll have to actually kill the enemies for, and you got the Forbidden 2 gem. You normally can't get that 2 gem, but sometimes you can get it. Why not do Hula first? I don't know. It's probably faster to do Hula second. I'm not sure. Just because then you don't have to go up the stairs and stuff. I don't know. It's house. But the thing that is an issue a lot, which is why it's good to have all the power-ups and stuff that we have right now. You don't have to we don't have to watch these cutscenes again, because every level besides, I think, Glimmer and Speedways have an entrance cutscene and an exit cutscene, so you don't want to be watching those. We're just doing Hunter's tutorial here. Pretty easy, considering we know what we're doing. And then normally we're going to get an orb that you have to normally have Swim to get. There is a way to get it even without Swim and without Supercharge and Fly, but it is very difficult. So now we're entering Colossus. The only orb that you normally get in PC runs is the statues here. And because we have Fly, we don't even have to talk to Brother Arnie, we don't have to talk to anyone. We're just going to go up and start the Professor and keep our flight as long as possible. There's actually a height cap here where Spyro can't get past it, so that's why House had to go to that kind of secondary area to get up to this area. So now that he has he has Fireball and Supercharge, we can kind of do these pretty fast. The thing also with these statues is they react a lot better to Fireball than they do with normal Flame. For normal Flame, they just kind of don't, well, sometimes take like 3 or 4 flames to get the spirit of the statue, but because Fireball, I guess, is coded maybe better, it just seems to work better. So then he gets the Talisman, and he's gonna turn back and get these last few statues, and that's the only orb. If you're in a console, you actually do hockey, you don't do or you don't do some other orb. You don't do Cloud Temples, but you do Hockey. But we don't do Hockey because it's pretty slow. It's also RNG and it sucks for PC. It's better for console because the in-game timer is what's used rather than load-less timer. But yeah, every level has a height cap on it, and if we need to, you are able to bypass it by holding certain inputs on the left stick and then holding the down arrow on the D-pad for like a second. We're also here. Normally you need climb to get this orb. We're just going to get this orb and head into Hercos. Hercos, generally a pretty easy orb because you can just fly to all these things that you're supposed to stop a bunch of stuff for. Even in regular 40 orb, it's they're pretty easy to get. And then for this last door, normally you're supposed to have these spark plugs, and kind of that's how you get past the electric doors. But if we turn our camera a certain way, the door will just disappear and we can just walk through it. So you're just gonna see how us turn the camera and just walk through. And just look at his gem counts. We're already a quarter of the way to the end of to how many gems we actually need. Like I said, we only have to pay for 2 levels. Next up is Sunny Beach. Sunny Beach, pretty notoriously difficult level to do well. There's a lot of timing based stuff because you have the time. There's a power up gate that you have a timer for Fireball, but because we have Fireball, we don't even have to worry about that. We just have to finish the level. We're gonna be getting 2 orbs here. The first is we're gonna get turtle soup, and we're also gonna get these turtle boxes. Another advantage of why we don't actually need swim is in here, because we can, with Fireball, we can just aim our sights, or our Fireball, and we can shoot it underwater rather than actually needing to be underwater. So the only thing with this is we don't want to just get all 7 right away, because it would actually warp us back to the guy, like the NPC that you're supposed to talk to. So we're actually gonna go do turtle soup, get the talisman, and then go for it. There are some out of bounds here, normal 90% that we use to get to like the talisman without that turtle, but we're just gonna be doing turtle soup 1. One thing that will be interesting is that in the next level will be a little bit of a reroute comparatively to normal 40 orb, because there's 2 orbs that we actually can't get. And I was showing there that you can't supercharge these enemies. At least he couldn't there. So you have to fireball them. I was also showing that if you do a flame, a roll, a jump, and then another flame, you can actually do a double fireball. You can also do double flames, which is what we do in Toasty. And it's really only that useful in Toasty. There's some other enemies that it's useful in, but I was gonna get hit. Yeah, there's the 7th one. It's teleported back. Now we're just gonna leave from here. And next up is Hercos. So, as I said before, we don't have swim. So, if we don't have swim, we can't swim. The only thing is if we go underwater, Spyro can do like a little doggy paddle to kind of move around and move up. But because otherwise we need to have the ability to swim to do certain orbs. Those 2 orbs being these 2 orbs in Aquaria, which are the Manta Ray orbs. And the reasons why we can't do that is the manta ray's speed is actually dependent on how fast on Spyro's charge. So because we can't swim underwater, you just move stupidly slow. So we only come in here and get the talisman. And we don't even have to make this world wet again like we do in OG. He's just like, thank you for talking to me. My world is now wet. Now we're gonna get to our first boss fight of Spyro 2. Again, the wall's not down, so we have to fly back over. So we talked to Allura, and we're gonna go into Crush. There are such thing with Flame, you can get a double hit on Crush. I'm pretty sure you can't do it with Fireball, but maybe House will get it. It just seems very much more inconsistent, but he's just gonna try to take damage and just obviously flame him. So you can see all these double flames, double fireballs. And you get a certain amount of fodder in this level. So he got 3 off the first one, so that means he's only gonna get 3. If you get 2 or 1, it means you're gonna get more on the next hit. But yeah, so he's only gonna get those 3, so I think he can take all but one of the damages. This is New Game Plus, so he used a cheat code to get it. So I'm not sure what Sparks he's at. I think he has to dodge one of the attacks. Or he still has it, so he can take this attack. What he was doing there was he was actually pressing the Sparks Finder, because obviously you can't see Sparks, but you can hear him. I don't know... Okay, he does have Sparks. And that's the last one. So doubles are obviously very good, but definitely a lot more consistent with just the flame power-up. Which I guess he could have turned off the power-up and used, but that'd just be pointless time loss, to be honest. So first level in Autumn Plains. We're on the second homeworld. Gonna get a bunch of orbs here. Obviously gonna get a bunch of orbs in Winter Tundra as well. But normally what you have to do here is you either have to pay for a bridge or do a soul dupe to activate a flight power-up early. But we have flight and we have fireball. So all we're gonna do, he got Sparks back, and we're just gonna go do Drachlets, because we have flight. Also, something to mention is the flight power-up that we have is definitely a little bit faster than normal. I hope there is actually a possibility that one of these Drachlets will glitch out and actually enter a whirlwind, and then he'll be in a really bad spot, but he should. House cleans it up before he can even spawn again. And then we don't have the flight power-up anymore. So what House is gonna do is he's actually just gonna quick game continue, because that reloads the level and it'll give him the flight power-up back. Otherwise he would have to go kill 15 souls or pay 200 gems for a bridge, and we just don't want to do that. So because we did that, he's just gonna go fly to the end portal, or end talisman. We can't like clip into the thing because it's solid all the way around, so we have to unfortunately release these guys. Also, quick game continuing gives us a full Sparks. So he took a hit, but he's at blue Sparks now. He also, while in that animation for like the blackout, he hit that bottle and didn't take any damage, because if that's fading out, you won't take damage from that bottle. And then we guidebook back to Autumn Plains, because it's a little bit faster than just exiting level. Skips that end cutscene. Now we're going to go into Skelos Badlands, which is where we're going to see our first of a different orb that we couldn't get in Aquaria. So we're actually going to be doing Bone Dance, which you're going to see later today as well. But you're going to see House kind of do this level a bit backwards, because Bone Dance will teleport us back to where like the end talisman is. So he's going to get all but the last one, and then he's going to obviously then collect it after he does the egg minigame, like the lava lizard, I believe it's called. You know, just collecting some gems. We're at 430 some odd, 440, 450. Oh, that's a 25, not a 5. Here, pretty easy. Just double hits that. We're actually going to be seeing House and Groxu do this orb later, commentated by me as well. Yeah, so now he's got 7 orbs, or 7 of the bones rather. And he's going to shoot this last bone, and then he's just going to go and do the lava lizards, and then he'll collect the bone after he's done these 2. So these are pretty easy orbs. You just obviously remember the order. They come out in the same order every time, so you don't even have to react. They just will always come out in this order. I will say something else that's important to note is it hasn't happened yet, but because I'm saying it now, it will happen at some point. But there's certain times where Spyro's flight, like having the flight power, will kind of bug out, and the height cap will be like lower than where you are, so you won't be able to fly. If that happens, he's just gonna warp to either crush or gulp, depending on when it happens, to get the kind of reset it. It resets the height cap because the height cap is insanely high in boss levels. Yeah, there, he got teleported back, and then he's gonna go get the talisman. And we're gonna watch this fantastic dance. Which is definitely unchanged from OG. There was no changes. No changes here. Definitely very true. No one, it was, who cares, he flossed. Just move past it. So he warps back to, Autumn Plains because, like I said, it's a bit faster. So here, again, we don't have to get onto this. It's not that difficult to get onto that, because we can fly, and we're just into Breeze. Another big thing with Breeze and having Fireball is that it makes doing these, mines a lot easier, because you can just sit here and aim while you're close, rather than having to aim with the cannon and kind of time it blindly like we normally do. I was kind of forgetting where the mines weren't spawned in for a second. Yeah, he's doing pretty good for gems. We're at 600. So now, normally we thought we had to actually kind of raise the boat, but in the past few months we found multiple ways to get up here. Obviously we can just get up here with fly, and then we're just gonna go get the last 4 mines. And normally for this one, he'll actually use the cannon because the fireball is a bit weirder, and that's actually a decent setup for these mines. Gets that, we're out. You may also wonder, like Cam said, why he wouldn't do the challenge, or why he wouldn't do trolley, because, you know, maybe we could just go pick up the 50 gears and just go. They don't, even if they do, they can sometimes pick up, but it doesn't actually recognize you as finishing the level, or finishing the challenge, like it does in OG. You'll have to redo it all, and so it just wastes time and it's slow. Going into Scorch. Scorch, there's really nothing about Scorch. We just fly to the end of the level, because all the orbs are really slow. Either you do Bob the Flag Keeper, which is about, you have to kill 20 souls, so it's really slow, or you do the Hunter Barrel a Monkeys minigame, which is also super slow and reignited. So we just go and just leave. No reason to stay. Our next level that we're going to be going into, because we kind of go through these levels pretty linearly, is Fracture Hills. Because, yeah. And the big thing, the two orbs that you normally get in here are the Alchemist and the Supercharge to the Fawn. We also have to, unfortunately, release the Satyrs because there's no way that we found as of yet to clip into the ending area with the Talisman. Basically, how we found it to work so far is just that there is there's essentially a cube that is over the Talisman area that exists the whole time until you release all 6 Satyrs. It doesn't like break apart piece by piece. It just does. So he's killing some enemies, but he doesn't have to because we already have Supercharge, so we can just get in here and get this Talisman. Or get this orb. So what he's probably gonna do is he's gonna release the 6th Satyr. Oh, I'm curious about what happens here. I've never seen that. Let's see what happens. Okay, he's fine. So he opened up that area, and he can actually just kill these guys with Fireball. And what we're going to do is we're just going to run out of the area, which deloads that area. At least, from what I've been told, it deloads that area, and essentially makes the Alchemist, and I'm saying this with air quotes, stuck. And then when you re-enter that area, the failsafe is for him to just go to the end. So you're gonna see now he's just gonna go back towards the end, and he's... You would probably, if we could, it would be really fast to do Hunter's minigame because we could just kill all the Earthshapers, but unfortunately, we have to have Head Bash, and if we were to go get Head Bash and come back, it would just be really, really slow, so we're just going to avoid that entirely. And into our next level, coming out of here, we're actually going to be going to Magma Cone, which is normally a pretty tough level. Popcorn is pretty cringe, and RNG... So sometimes you get a good one, sometimes you get a bad one. With Supercharge, you can normally get a good one. But we're going to have to do a quick re-enter here, because we'll need to get our Fly power-up back. So we're actually... This is another orb that we're going to replace our Aquaria orbs with, because we need an extra orb. So Popcorn 2 is a bit slow and pretty RNG for normal 40 orb. Some people want to route it in, but it's a lot better here because we have the Supercharge, so we can cover more ground. And we also need it because it's a pretty fast orb when you can't do any of the Aquaria orbs. Well, pretty easy 10-0. Now we got 15. So normally this is like where Hunter hustles you, but as you can see, with Supercharge, you can just cover so much more distance. So the RNG effect of it is a lot less, because you can make it pretty much anywhere. Let's see if House can get a double shutout. He's on phase 2 right now. Sometimes these popcorn rocks... Oh, he snagged it. That would probably get you a achievement called Ganked. If this was House's first time running. Oh, I missed that. That was unfortunate. Sometimes these popcorn rocks will just like go without having like the kind of smoke to show it, and Hunter will go to them. But so after here, we're actually going to quick and continue because we need our Fly power up back. Because now we're just gonna go do Party Crashers, and we need Deflate for it, and we have Fireball for it. The only thing is that you're gonna see House actually go kill 2 enemies because we have to have 2 enemies killed before or to activate this mini game. But he's gonna get the talisman first. I think the thing that makes this minigame a lot easier now is instead of normally you would have to collect and shoot the rocks at them, you can just fireball them. So you can do it fairly quickly. And in a little bit of a different route. The balloon blocked him. But you don't have to collect any of the rocks and just, it goes by super fast. It's an insanely quick orb. Oh, we exit level and we're out of there. So we're coming up now on our first level that we're actually going to buy, which is Shady Oasis, and then our second is Zeph. So we had 655 gems, then minus 400 for Shady, and he has to get back to 400 for Zephyr. And unfortunately, even with Supercharge and Flight, Shady, you still have to escort Shorty all the way up to the end to get her talisman. So we can collect some gems along the way. He's actually a bit over-gemmed because there's about 190-ish gems. So he only needs to collect about 140 or something, which, you know, you can do with relative ease, especially being able to get those metal chests with Supercharge. What you're gonna see here is actually, I think he's gonna fly up and activate the this minigame early, and then he's gonna get them while Shorty is walking, because it actually doesn't lose time. It saves a lot of time. Oh, we got double hit there. That's not that good. Shorty unfortunately didn't walk there. It's a bit hard to get her to keep walking there. She's just being mean. Give her a couple fireballs. Yeah, we're way ahead of jump count. Because like I said, in OG2, Shorty is very like fast, and then this one she's slow and has so many checkpoints, so you have to stay pretty close to her constantly to get her to keep going. So yeah, we have definitely enough gems. So here, what he's gonna do is he's actually going to just release that, and then he's gonna go get these last two.
Spyro.
Can't do that orb yet. And we're not going to do that orb. The wall blocked the fireball. So he's got all of them. So he gets this, and Shorty's now waiting at the talisman for him. So he did that all while Shorty was walking to here, which is good. And out of here, we're gonna guide back to Autumn Plains. Normally you'd exit and have to do the long glide. You have to get up to the top of the castle to get the orb that's kind of on a platform that's by Zephyr. It's easy to get to it if you have the fly power up, so that's what we're gonna do. He's just gonna fly there. And we already have enough gems for the rest of the run, so doesn't even need to collect those 75. Zephyr has a pretty low-ish height cap. It's not impossible to get past, but you kind of have to be sure, like, it's pretty low there. And what we're going to try to do is just get up on top of this rock, and then we can get over here. And then height cap up to the end area. Basically how height caps work is while you're flying, if you hold slightly up on the left stick, and then you press down on the D-pad, but you hold that left stick input, the game will think that you're flying downwards, so it won't apply the height cap to you. At least that's how I've been explained it. And then here, we can actually just get on top of these rocks that are out of bounds, and then just supercharge and jump over to these last 2 orbs. Because normally there's a big puzzle to get here. You have to do a bunch of these, what are they called? Seed mini games. Like I think it's called Sowing Seeds 1 and 2. But because we can just get there. Like I said, warping to Autumn Plains because it's faster. And now we get to fight Gulp. Gulp is very notorious in 40 orb / 90% NLS. They're the same category for being just, it's a run killer. It's quite difficult to have like a good one, and a lot of things can go wrong. People like DrHouse and Roxu have made it a lot more consistent, but it still is a run killer. But because we have Supercharge, we can actually just Supercharge him 10 times. Or you can Fireball him, but Supercharging him is a bit faster. So that's Gulp. Now we're into Winter Tundra. So Gulp, pretty easy. For any percent, we get level storage during the run, so we get to do that to Gulp. But yeah, Gulp in this category is very, 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 very easy. He's gonna have to quick game continue there, because he talked to Alora. So if you, like I said before, if you talk to someone, if you had dragons in Spyro 1, like, you're gonna lose your flight power up, but because he wants it. So he's gonna actually get up here and get this waterfall orb. He's gonna quick game continue, then he's gonna go get the big rock, because I believe you can flame it or supercharge it. And again, we're not buying Head Bash, but there's certain things we can do to bypass needing Head Bash. Mystic Marsh, stupendously quick level, because all we have to do is fly to the end, because that's the only fast orb in this level. The Spark Plug Thieves suck. The trading mission sucks. Just not a good set of orbs other than the end level. Ain't guidebooked out, because guidebooking out is a bit faster than not guidebooking out in some cases. And we're gonna fly into Cloud Temples, I believe, next. The orbs we do here are the same ones that we do in NLS, which is the Agent Zero mission and just the end of level 1. I don't believe you do bells, because I think for bells you still have to unlock 21 enemies, so that would still be slow. But here we're just going to go around the complete outside of the map and get to the end of level. And what he does is he goes and kills that guy, and then he's just going to start the Agent Zero mission. And then what he can do is he can just jump back into the mountain, and it'll teleport him back up to get the orb. So he can get this orb while Agent Zero is walking. He just has to make sure to not get caught. You don't want to stand where he was, because that actually, you can get caught there. Yeah, this is normally a spot where you're kind of finishing up getting 1,000 gems for Head Bash and kind of getting into the last 2 levels of the run, which is still where we are, but we don't Head Bash, so. He's got to make sure to be hiding, because this orb is like slightly slow, but if you get caught, it becomes very slow, because then you have to go obviously redo everything. It just sucks. Out of here, we'll guidebook out of here, and then head into Metropolis. The name was eluding me for a second. You also might think, Randy, how is he gonna break this rock in front of the door if he doesn't have Head Bash? He's just gonna supercharge it and flame Moneybags, because Moneybag sucks. So Metropolis is kind of it's the Head Bash level. You need Head Bash to kind of move the elevators up and down. You need Head Bash to get here anyways normally. But basically what we do is there's actually a little opening here where House can kind of just get up and hover, and then we can just obviously use our flight and supercharge to get to the end area. We're also going to be we're going to quick game continue after this and go do the Ox, because that's also another really fast orb, especially when we have Fireball, because you can just Fireball them instead of flaming the bombs. So these two UFO orbs, very, very quick. There's a set pattern, so if you learn it, you can hit them quite quickly and in the right spots. Then we're gonna quick game continue. Again, it kind of sucks that we have to quick game continue to get our flight power up back, because it also means that we have to watch that intro cutscene again, but in the grand schemes, it saves a good amount of time to do that. Back in, we're gonna do that same kind of hover, and it is a bit finicky to get this hover, but we just want to be able to get out, and then instead of going to the right, he's gonna go to the left, and he's gonna go to the Ox, and just flame him. And it's just that easy, folks. None of the bomb stuff. So we got 36 orbs. We're gonna get the final orb that's right by Robotica, and then 3 orbs in Robotica. Then we're gonna fight Ripto. And the 3 orbs in Robotica become much... Not that they're hard, but they become a lot easier just through the nature of not needing to do, like, other things. So normally one of the requirements for the final orb that we normally get, which is the clearing the tractor path, you normally have to kill 15 enemies to activate the supercharge portal. Well, we have supercharge. We don't need it. So we're just gonna go do it. Don't have to kill any enemies. And we're doing this first instead of like kind of doing it and then finishing, like doing the bugs, because if he goes and does the bugs, he'll lose flight and then can't get back up very fast, so it's better to just do this. And here he's just gonna go to the end of the level, and then he's just gonna snipe the bugs from far away with Fireball, so they don't run away, don't fly away. Yeah, so that's how easy the bug minigame can be. It's even not too hard, even just with flame, but... So we have 4 arrows, now we get to go fight Ripto. Well, fields! And the thing with the Ripto fight is it becomes a lot easier, especially Phase 1. Phase 3 is the same, Phase 2 is essentially the same. But Phase 1 is quite difficult because you have to collect 3 orbs, and then you have to either hit them with the green lobbing orbs, the red fireball, or the blue supercharge. I was also going to go for a little high cap here. This high cap saves a little bit of time, but it's pretty tough because the high cap kind of starts pretty quickly here. So you can just climb the stairs, but I think House is going to try to get this to show another one. But this one's pretty tough from this angle. Yeah. So normally with Phase 1 it's very tough because 2 of the 3 orbs aren't that good, being blue and green. Red is your best bet because red can actually get a 1 cycle. I believe it's theoretically possible with a green, but you have to get stupidly lucky to get 8 hits with green. Like, we were popping off the other day when somebody got 6 hits with a green. So what we can do is, because we have Supercharge and Fireball, is we can just Supercharge or Fireball them. So it makes it stupidly easy. Phase 2, again, becomes trivial because we have Fireball. Normally what you would do in an any percent run is you collect 2 orbs while you're Supercharging him because you lose Supercharge here. But because we have Fireball, we can just Fireball him. One thing to note is normally you can get double hits on Mecha Gulp, but you can't with normal Fireball, but you could with either the Charge or the green orb or the Fireball from the orb, but regular Fireball. And now we're on to Ripto Phase 3, which is... This is the same across the whole board, because now we have Flight and Fireball as like a mandatory thing. But normally what you can do is you can kind of get these first 6 hits pretty consistently. Unfortunately, kind of I-framed that one, but then the biggest part here is it becomes RNG where he goes up and when he comes in. But normally you can kind of do what House is doing and pre-fire him. Unfortunately, House missed that last shot, but he should be coming in here. That's Spyro 2. So that's Spyro 240 orb with level storage. So very cool run. And next up, oh, he's flying up. Oh baby, is he gonna do it? Alright, get your predictions is. Who are we getting in the Tunnel of Love? It's a random chance to get a certain character, like sometimes you get the Fractured Hills spawn, sometimes you get the Professor, you get Master Chef, I think you get Agent Zero, you can get a Colossus guy, you can get a thing, you can get Greta. Everybody likes the Fawns, but I'm with Grok, so I'm feeling a Professor. Oh, he got Master Chef. Let's go, baby. Turtle suit guy. So that's always fun to do in a run, is to just go get this. Oh, he's gonna do it again. Alright, who are we getting this time? I think he wants a Fawn. Who we getting? Who we getting? Who we getting? I don't think it's gonna be Master Chef again. Alright, we got Fawn. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's. Oh, he's going on it again. Yep. Speed running. Yeah, so this is we gotta Colossus guy. I wonder. Okay, so now we're gonna get into Spyro 3. So Spyro 3 remains mostly the same, even with Supercharge and Fireball. There's not too many skips of like gems that we can do that we can't already do, because we have to buy Sheila, Sergeant Bird, Bentley. You have to buy certain levels, or not certain levels, but you have to get all the eggs to get certain levels, rather. But basically what we're going to do is, because we can fly and Supercharge, you can kind of choose better gems to get. And here we can actually skip Bianca, because we can just fly over a trigger. Our trigger's landing on that thing, but we can just kind of skip over it. I think Spyro 3 is a bit better for if you talk to people, you still have flight, and you still have flight when you collect eggs. Yeah, we're just gonna. The thing with like now is normally there's gems that we don't collect because they're like too far out of the way. But with this, they're not too far out of the way because we have Supercharge and Superflight, which is fast. We can also skip that chicken cutscene and just get to the end of Mayor Leo. And I believe he'll exit level. We're gonna collect every orb in every homeworld because all the orbs and all the home worlds are quite fast, so they're just standing there. There's no challenge for them. There's some things that actually become more difficult with having level storage. One of those being the first boss, which is Buzz, which I'll explain once we get there. But instead of normally what any% used to do, which was go and do Sheila, I believe, third. We're gonna do Sheila last because we have the guidebook and stuff. So we can do that. Again, just getting some of these gems that are like quite not great normally, but because we can fly and stuff. Oh, that 10 gem is stuck in the wall. Nice. This egg, it is always an annoyance to get. It just doesn't properly work. The fastest way to get it is to like bonk on the wall and then you get knocked back into it and it works. Something also to note is that you're going to be seeing House take some intentional deaths and stuff throughout this run. A lot more than the other games, because Spyro 3 has side areas, and once you go into those side areas, you lose the level storage power-ups until you exit level or die. So what he's going to do is, if he has to go into these areas, and it's faster to some spots, it might be faster to like get it back by dying. So he's going to do that, because otherwise he just has to like run like normally, which is obviously slower than supercharging. But here he doesn't need to die or do anything because we have the fly power-up gate there anyways. So he also waited before entering Cloud Spires because Hunter, if you don't trigger him, or if you don't let him get to his second place, he'll go back to the first one. So he wanted to make sure he got to that second place, so then he can just go and actually continue instead of having to jump back and make him jump over here again. Like I said, we still have to collect some gems, but like we have the advantage of being able to get all the like metal chests, which are quite good. And thankfully here, even though we didn't buy any of the power-ups in Spyro 2, we still obviously have them. Entering Molten Crater, this level we have 2 visits of. We have a visit now and a visit at the end. So like I said there's like a key chest that normally you can't get because the key's in a bad spot. But here, it doesn't matter because you have supercharge, so you can just supercharge it. So the 2 visits here, I believe, yeah. He's gonna visit at the end of the run to do the Thieves and the Sergeant Bird Egg. Because getting 300 gems for here it's a bit tough, but it's doable. But just having those 300 gems be able to be gotten in later levels where all the gems are 10s and 5s and 25s as opposed to like 1s and 2s is pretty good. We're gonna get this Bruce Egg under the water, and then we're going to go into Seashell Shore. Something also to note here is this is the only time I think the only time you'll see a side character before we've bought the side character. So we haven't bought Sheila yet and done her level, so her portal is blocked here. But there's actually a clip with a barrel that we can do. Oh. So if you get flattened by this barrel, and then the second barrel can push you through the wall, we can actually get to her portal and get into her area, do these 2 eggs, orbs. You also see House there, he did a little bit of something called a kick jump. It's where you jump and kick at the same time. You lose a little bit of height, but you gain more forward momentum, as if like you're just doing a normal, like, you carry a lot of forward momentum than you do normally with like a big jump. We're also not going to do Bluto, because Bluto is not great. It's not the worst egg we can do, and it's certainly not like even like bad, I would say. It's just rough because it's often RNG and you can get hit, and it just like it's a tough orb to do well, and it's not really that consistent. So now that we're out, we have normal Spyro abilities again, like no flight supercharge. But it doesn't particularly matter. It wouldn't be faster to go take a death in here. So we're just gonna go. Because again, we're going in another side area, so it would just be pointless. We're just gonna be getting through this tunnel. Hopefully not missing any of these Rhinox, because if you miss one, obviously we go back to the beginning. It was not really... Out of Seashell, we're going to be doing our first and only speedway, which will be Mushroom Speedway. Something that we'll see for the first time is we'll see, because the way Spyro 3 speedways work, you talk to Sparks and then you choose what challenge, whether it's time, whether it's the race, or whether it's leaving. We're gonna see Spyro in a position where he's like stuck, and we're just gonna see him like flip out and turn and do a bunch of stuff. So it'll look really weird, and it'll also show for the in front of boss cutscenes as well, or in front of bosses as well. So you can see him; he's just spinning and stuff because he's stuck. So, and these rings, House can even go even further outside of these rings. The rings hitboxes are absolutely huge. So the thing with like speedway eggs is they're good and they provide us with a good amount of gems. So this one is normally, it's going to be a bit less, like this will probably be around like 50-ish seconds. Normally you can get around like 45, even some people can get like 44s. The IL is like 40 or something. Like that's 40.1 or 40.0. But 45 seconds for an egg and 400 gems. Obviously there's a bit of time getting to and from the level and stuff, but it's still like in general like a pretty good egg. Plus we're also going to get another egg here. We're going to get Hunter's Mission, because that's also quite fast. So you got a 51 for 400 gems. It's pretty good. And basically this mission can be quite fast when you just, obviously you kill the sheep UFOs, sheep saucers. House does it also really fast because he's a madman. I take a bit of a slower kind of lead. His House, he has to like circle back a bit. And I don't, oh, this isn't good. Uh-oh, okay. He normally, I don't think I've ever seen him miss that one, but you don't want to get hit because you are one hit KO, so. It is I, RandyBobandy. So now we actually are going to retry, and then we're going to warp out of here back to Sunrise, and then we're going to go get Sheila. Because we have 788 gems, only need 300. But that's the best thing about doing Sheila last, is we used to do her third, and it was like you would be at 300 like on the dot, or even a bit under if you missed like a 5 gem. So it was causing a lot of resets and stuff, so rerouting it, also seeing Sheila, or seeing Spyro kind of flounder about again. All the critter areas, so Sheila, Bentley, Agent 9, we don't do Agent 9, but Agent 9, and Sergeant Bird would all be the same because they don't get the power-ups, unfortunately. It'd be kind of interesting to see like what would happen if they actually did get the available supercharge in flight. It would be quite silly, but yeah, we just kind of make through these levels. And Sheila's level especially, we have some good gems here. There's a lot of 10s, there's a lot of 5s. Especially in this area. So we can actually... You can actually not jump on the top of these. You can jump on the side of them. I sometimes jump on the side, sometimes jump on the top. Like, it just kind of depends. Sparks also being highlighted here because there's certain gems that he sometimes just like that 5 gem there, he just didn't want to pick up. And we call those, I believe most of us call them dead gems, because basically Sparks just won't pick them up. So you have to actually touch them. They exist in all of the Spyro games. There's consistent ones, especially in Spyro 3. There's one in Desert Ruins that he doesn't pick up. Like, there's... So now we're into, I think, the hardest change from regular 90% to New Game Plus 90%, and this is Buzz. So obviously, you normally have Supercharge, or you normally just have normal charge, so you just can hit him and he goes a set distance normally. But with Supercharge, he's a little bit weird, and the fight is just very difficult. As like difficult as it already is, it's like even more difficult. So he's gonna try to basically like, I think House kind of tries to like bait Spyro, or bait Buzz. He baits Gulp to the side and then he hits him, because that's kind of like the most consistent way to get like a decent amount of like, you see how he like didn't really go that far? You'll also notice that House didn't just like mash that text at the beginning, because if you mash the text at the beginning of a boss fight, there's a chance he can soft lock and then he'll have to close the game. But basically, something that's difficult here is you can sometimes get this weird thing where if you charge him and then you let go of your charge and then like kind of recharge and keep him on your horns, he'll actually get like sent really far, but it's pretty inconsistent. I've only gotten it like maybe less than 10 times in like all my attempts, which like granted wasn't like a lot, but I like practiced the Buzz fight for like hours and hours because I was so bad at it. There's a couple gems in Alpine that don't automatically go. Here, unfortunately, House tried to go for a head bash strat, where if you get the head bash, you can actually just like avoid his damage, but it wasn't really in the right spot. But you know, pretty good fight, minute 20. That's kind of what you're looking for. Sorry, I'm just gonna mute for a second. I have to cough. Okay, I'm back. And now we're out of the first homeworld. We still have to revisit, because we're gonna come back to Molten Crater towards the end of the run for a secondary visit. But now we're getting into midday. We're gonna get our boy under the bridge, Dave here. And normally I have to talk to Hunter here, but we can actually just supercharge the thing and leave. This is a level where the height cap is actually pretty much below any platform, so House has to be careful too. He can still supercharge and exist, but he can't really fall off. Otherwise it's just kind of over. He has to do a height cap or... Because like you see how he's getting like basically pushed down to the bottom. He's gonna quit game, and then do some other jumps. He's gonna do this jump onto here. And then luckily like these jumps are pretty easy, but you're seeing like he's just getting like pushed to the ground really quickly. We're gonna be doing skateboarding. Skateboarding is a part of 100 Egg, especially because it is the first, like the tutorial part isn't. It's like kind of fast, but the best part is the one where you just have to beat Hunter, because we can just once we get the certain amount of points to beat him, we can just quit, and then he'll give us the egg. So instead of having to actually do tricks for 2 minutes.
Okay.
So we're gonna see kind of Hunter give us the way to do tricks, holding triangle and pressing a certain way and jumping and holding left and stuff. Like, it's not too bad. The hardest thing is sometimes there's some jank spots you can hit and your like skateboarding will like mess up, and it's just like, it's just regular old SRT jank. So what the tricks that House does here, they're called Nasty Narcs. They give you like 300 or 3,000 points. I think, forget what the actual amount of points that we need to do is. Oh, he's doing some Twisted Lemons. I think the actual amount of points we need to get is something like 29, 25. I know it's different in OG, and they made it, I think, less in SRT, but once we get it, you see House can just give up, and we're out. We don't have to actually like do that for 2 minutes. Also, you're seeing House skip past Bianca, because nobody wants to talk to Bianca in the name of speed. You might want to talk to Bianca because, you know, you think she's cute or something, but talking to her is slow. She's not in the tunnel of love, so. Luckily for here, we can just break that bridge. And then just kind of keep our flight and just go get a bunch of some of the eggs. Because there's a good amount of these eggs that are just... They're just like standing here. We're not going to do the figure skating. We're going to do the thieves because those are both good eggs. Again, like you're seeing here, like House went out of his way for that metal chest in that little side area. Like, it's just a really good gems to get because we have supercharge. So getting to the end here, talking to my boy Doug. Then we're gonna go into these areas. So like I said, once you go into side area, you lose it, but because we have supercharge here, it's not too bad. House getting a little slowdown on the side there. And then we're going to... we can kind of reverse this guy and kind of go against the grain, I guess. I'm surprised he didn't guidebook out. Normally you guidebook out of Icy. So we have 929 gems. Pretty good gem count. Normally this is kind of where you want to be. Okay, good. That cutscene is notorious for if you press triangle slowly too early, you'll... oh, yeah, supercharged balking off of him. That makes sense, by the way. If you try to skip that cutscene too early, you'll actually... you won't be able to skip it, and you'll just lose a bunch of time. That's not that fun. So... we also got teleported, so if you go into an area... or a side area, or you get teleported, you lose your like flight and stuff. So also we got Banger Central here, Sergeant Bird's base. 100% the best song in SRT, and this is not debatable. I am correct. It is the best song. But basically, as kind of mentioned before in the OG, all bosses race, it's just an escort mission. We're just trying to kill everybody that we need to kill and get this hummingbird to keep walking in the right way. Because the eggs in here, there's another egg where you have to release the 5 people, and it's not fast. So we're just gonna do this. Top 3 are definitely Frozen Altars, Midnight Mountain, and Sergeant Bird's base in no order. They're all tied for first. Icy Peak low-key slaps. So here, and again, like I've been saying, he can just go out of his way to get these gems, because normally they're really slow, but instead they're quite fast when you have supercharge. So he was trying to go for a fly and skip there, kind of similar to what he was doing in Spyro 1 earlier, because for some reason Spooky Swamp has like a really long load-in screen. So if you get a fly and skip, you actually like save a bunch of time, and it's even faster to once you've done that fly in, or like if you miss it, to quit game continue when you can do it. It's faster to do that. So getting these eggs. We're not going to be doing Sleepyhead. We're not going to be doing any of the Sheila missions here because, by God, they're so slow. Just going to be exiting here. Then we're going to go to the final level here in midday. Which, oh, we got 420 gems. Let's go, let's go, let's go. We're going to be going to the final level here, which, or final level in midday, which will be Bamboo Terrace. But first, we're going to get this, we're going to get 2 eggs kind of pretty quickly, one after another. We're going to kill these pots, and then we're going to collect an egg. So we collect an egg and then get an egg at the same time, and we get teleported back towards Bamboo. So we get Modesty and Matt pretty much at the same time, and like, then we enter Bamboo. And the biggest thing with a lot of these levels with having the flight and having the supercharge is we can do them, you can normally do them in reverse order. I think it's probably, I don't know, it's a tough one to, it's probably better to do this one backwards, but House is doing it forwards. This hasn't had a horrendous amount of routing, like it's just a really cool run that like him and I did for like a week or two a while ago, and then House kind of started doing it a bit more again recently because of like this event, obviously. Oh, he missed the thief, but that's okay. And then we're gonna go back to midday. Yeah, the regular 90% actually does go backwards. There's a wall glide. So we're gonna make sure here, 40 gems there, that's pretty good. Now we're gonna go into our second boss, which is Spike. Spike, we don't have like a hard mode or an easy mode. It's just, I think our Spike is just easy mode Spike comparatively to OG. He only takes 6 hits. You have to hit him twice with rocks, twice with the fire, and then twice with the purple rock. The only difficult part in this one is the rocks, and it's really only that difficult because the supercharge kind of messes with it a little bit. It's not the greatest. Sometimes the rock just goes flying. Sometimes it's all crazy. Normally, if you kind of set it up and take the half second to adjust yourself, it's good. So House there getting 2 to 2 rocks, and then just flying up to the top and getting hammered. The best thing about this fight is taking hits in it. I don't want to say it doesn't matter because it probably loses you time, but Sergeant Bird, unlike other people like Hunter. Unlike Hunter, doesn't. He's gonna die. He's gonna. That's so funny. Yeah, taking hits doesn't matter. By the way, quote RandyBobandy 21. RandyBobandy 2021. Normally you don't do this. He's just kind of. I think he's just kind of showing up because he's got the flight and stuff. But normally Sergeant Bird, unlike Hunter in other levels, and the bird or the pterodactyls in Gulp, they don't actually. Sergeant Bird doesn't only drop you fodder instead of other stuff. If you take a hit, he'll drop you a fodder and also continue on with his normal timing of dropping a rock or whatever. He doesn't sacrifice dropping a rock for dropping fodder, he'll just drop them at the same time. So normally, in any percent, there's sometimes a revisit here because of something called rocket storage, which is the next boss. But, yeah. There's also what he did there was he ran towards where the whirligig was going to spawn, and then when it teleported him back, it teleported him about halfway, which is right where it'll put you onto the whirligig. So you actually do this, and it's dubbed whirligirl, Whirly Girly. Early Whirly by Dylan J. Fox. He was the one that found it. So it saves, you know, about probably like a second or two, depending on if you get like the fastest early whirly, which I believe he did. This is the only Bianca that we can't skip. We're forced into her dialogue where she's like, "I'm on your side, bro." Or no, she's not on our side yet. She's like, "Just leave because I'm dealing with a bunch of internal conflict and yada yada yada, and I'm bad but good and yeah." So Frozen Altars. There's a lot of eggs here that are just kind of standing on the side here. We're not going to be doing... I believe we're not going to be doing Bentley boxing. Banger also have a soundtrack.
Thanks for...
Okay, it was nothing Mr. Dillon for the early release. Oh, there, yeah, get, you know, 3 pretty quick eggs. I'm right out of there. Also, next level, banger of a tune also, Fireworks Factory. Spyro 3 just has banger after banger after banger. Most of, like Spyro 1's music, very aesthetically pleasing, very good, like, kind of background music, very good for, like, each of the homeworlds. But, man, Spyro 3 just got bangers. So Fireworks Factory, we're gonna actually be taking an intentional death here, I believe. I don't think you have to, but we do just for sake of like consistency. Here's one of the best eggs in the game. This is Nudes. Yeah, so those 3 damage abuses were all intentional because we're going to be taking a death later. He didn't actually mean to. He's probably gonna take a hit here. He didn't want to collect that butterfly, but he did. So here also we can just go right to the end. Yeah, like I said, getting all these metal chests relatively easy. So normally we'd take a damage abuse from this bomb, but I believe it's slightly faster to take this death and then you can just fly up there. I don't know, wouldn't be faster real time, but it would probably be faster RTA. Dude. Then we just talk to Greta and then we're out of here. That was an interesting spot for her trigger to spawn. Her trigger can sometimes be a little bit weird. We're gonna guide back to you. I believe our next level, we're actually gonna go do the whale. And this is kind of the advantage with being able to like quit game and continue and having like automatic saving, is that we're gonna go get the whale, and it's actually faster loadless for us to quit game from the whale and then go right into Trim Bridge, because now we have 58 eggs. It's actually fast for us loadless to do this and go into Charmed Ridge from the beginning of the level. Because also the whale sometimes janks out and just like won't spit you out or just is bad. This is also, you can see that swimming in SRT is already hard enough, but swimming with Supercharge is also very difficult.
Spyro.
You can sometimes avoid that. You can sometimes avoid her, but not always. Again, just picking up all these high-value gems that are just quite good to get us to closer to 1,000, because we do need 1,000 gems to buy Bentley is our next thing, and then we only need 300 for the rest. So we're also going to see him taking, I believe, 2 intentional deaths in this level, because he's actually going to take an intentional death to, regain his flight power-up back in the Jack minigame. Because what he'll do now is, now they took the death, he actually gets it back. So he's going to talk to Jack, and then he's going to do a height cap to get up to this final area, and just because you're up here, it doesn't trigger it, but it basically marks that you've been up here. Then he goes to the first area that you're supposed to get to, and it'll play them back to back. So now he's gonna be like, wow, you did really well, here's Shelly. And then he's like, here's some more seeds. And then he just goes and does here. And then you get kind of taken underneath. It's just a mess. But you can get these gems. And then here he's also gonna take a death. Because taking the death is faster, because he'll get supercharge and flight again. So something that you have to do a bit is kind of manage your lives a tiny bit. He has 1 life, which I believe he needs more lives, because I believe he does take some more damage or death abuses later in the run, but it's as much as like he might just go get these 2 lives here. Yeah, that's normally what you do, is you go get these lives here because they're in pretty good spots and give you those 2 extra lives. So we're on good pace. Only need about 67 more gems before Bentley. That's going to be no problem. We're going to be going to Lost Fleet next, which I believe is some people's favorite level in the chat. You know, it's got some. It's got a lot of tough eggs. Got subs. Got skateboarding. The only tough egg we're going to really do is subs 1. We're not going to do any skateboarding. So you actually do need to talk to Crazy Ed here, because if you don't, he won't advance. But once you break that door, he'll like continue walking, and you just kind of want to get towards him. You'll also lose your flight if you take a whirlwind. So subs 1 and subs 2 have routes. Subs 1 is, I believe, the more consistent route. You're just gonna kind of pre-fire some of these. So hopefully we can get subs 1 pretty good. There's the first one, there's the second one. 3rd one, 4th one. Unfortunately, missing that 5th one a bit, but oh, that was kind of unfortunate. Just that one shot, he didn't quite. It like just didn't hit for some reason. Yeah, so here, like, it's not too much faster to die and get supercharged and stuff back, because you still have to kind of escort them. So we don't, because we'll just get it back once we leave. So yeah, that subs is like pretty difficult. Like it takes a lot of time to get those, especially leading those shots, because you have to be pretty confident with it. The reason why we don't do subs 2 is actually because there is another egg later in the run that we do instead, which is also another subs minigame, but we're gonna do shark subs, which normally isn't done because normally you can't get there fast in any percent, which is true. Like, you have to climb a ladder, go around, but because we have fly, we can get there very fast, and it's a really fast egg. So now we're going into our 3rd fritter level, which is Bentley. So from now on, all we need is 300 gems, because we need 300 gems for the Thieves minigame in Molten Crater. Normally you would say to me, be like, Randy, we still need a bunch of eggs, and we have to do Crystal Island. Like, you have to do Crystal Islands, and you have to pay 1,000 gems for that brick of a bridge. But I'm gonna tell you right now, we don't have to get those 1,000 gems. You also, if you talk to Bartholomew during the cutscene, you can kind of walk it. You can start walking quicker than normal. Unfortunately, House kind of messed up the movement of that egg. You can actually skip a cycle by getting that first seal a bit early, but House unfortunately just missed it, so he's gonna have to wait for this seal. But whatever, let's hit that thing. And unfortunately, we don't have the ability to just hammer the gong. Another gong. Yeah, these cutscenes also always go back from like 4-3 for no reason. There is a way to push these boxes a little bit faster. If you push them on the edge, you won't get stuck in the kind of animation. But it's like very, 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 very minuscule time save than just pushing them. Sometimes Bartholomew can get stuck in the box and you have to move in. It's just like stupid time loss. So I believe also we're going to see him do a guidebook out of here to Evening Lake, and we're going to be going into Scorch. Third boss fight. So, pretty... I won't say similarly, but we kind of have a very similar outlook in that you obviously want to be kind of locking him into certain kind of movements for Scorch. Basically, we want to get a red rocket, because red rocket is 50 as opposed to green, which is 1, and they both do the same amount of damage for whatever reason. But red rockets, basically what they allow us to do, green rockets can do it too, but it's easier with red rockets, is if we hit him, we can get him locked into just walking back and forth or flying back and forth and only doing fire. That one's also scary because that animation takes very long to go, and sometimes you think he's soft blocked. But we got a green, which is fine. You can start it here. So he's gonna shoot fire, and hopefully Bentley throws through another green. Because like you want him to throw red. He's only throwing green. And it actually got found out recently that Bentley essentially has a pool of what he's gonna throw. He has 6 rockets total, and at all times in that there's 4 green and 2 red rockets. That was a bit unfortunate. Yeah, there we go. Now he gets red, so that should be pretty easy. He's gonna go stand under him and just kind of jab walk him. But yeah, you get, we can't double hit him like they do in OG, but we can just kind of keep him stunned. So the normal any percent route, what you actually try to do is you actually try to hit him on a certain frame. Is House gonna go for it? Tell me he got it. That'd be quite funny. Oh my fucking god. I'm sorry for the swearing, but he did rocket storage when he doesn't need to do rocket storage. So what he did was he took a green rocket out of Scorch by hitting Scorch on and then hitting Scorch on the right timing as Bentley throwing out a rocket. It won't despawn, so you can collect it and then take it out. So he doesn't just have 1 rocket, he has as many until he gets teleported and stuff. But he doesn't need to do it. He didn't need to do it in this run because he has flight. So what it changes is instead of either going to collect 1,000 gems for the bridge in Crystal Islands, what it will do is, as you can see, he's just shooting them because he has them, is it allows us to shoot the plane thief in Crystal Islands, and then it'll teleport us there, and then we can like finish the level. Okay, this is interesting. I don't know if he got that egg or not. But basically what he's doing is he's just gonna go shoot this thief. Like, normally you don't need it because you don't need to, like, you don't need it because you can just fly and flame that thief. But whatever, House of Madman just decided to do it. I don't know if maybe you can get that, like, thief a little bit early. Like, it doesn't really matter in the homeworld, but He also quick game continue to keep his fly. Like otherwise you'd have to use the fly power up, and it's not like horrible to use the fly power up, but you kind of have to like double back on yourself a little bit. And here he's gonna actually go and do the slide. The slide does take away, like, because it's a side area, it takes away your ability to fly and supercharge, but we have an interesting strat here where we just roll off of this rock, and then on this light, there's a huge platform above it, so we can kind of just run and charge off of it. There's also a another strat that if you miss that green rocket storage, if it's a red rocket, it doesn't work. Also, you can't take it out. If it's a green rocket, it works. Or what you do is you go back to Spike and fight Spike again. But fighting Spike again kind of isn't great. Because like it's the same, it's basically the same amount of time as doing the thing. And here we're actually gonna, like I said, we're going to be going into Desert Ruins, and we're gonna get the end of level egg, and then he's gonna turn around and go do shark subs, because we can get there quite fast. Forgot the way to shark subs. Does a head bash because it's pretty cool. And then shark subs does have like a pretty good setup as long as you get here. Boom, boom, boom. You want to get snipe these two, and then you want to turn left. The only thing about this is sometimes they'll shoot you. So that was a pretty good shark subs. So that's like, that was what we did instead of doing other eggs. Then we're gonna quick game continue, which will take us back to the beginning of Desert Ruins. And then we'll go do the other couple eggs that are just kind of on the ground, and we'll do the Sheila minigame. Yeah, the Sheila minigame is good spot for gems. Oh, that guy was in a weak spot. He was falling off the side. Never seen that before. So this, normally you would get Nelly as the last egg, but I think what House is going to do is he's going to get the eggs and Sheila as the last eggs, which makes sense.
Hi, Spot.
So this is just you hold right and jump and kick. But after this, we still have 2 full levels, and then the ending of Molten Crater to do, because we still have Haunted Tomb, we still have Dino Mines, and then, like I said, the ending of Molten Crater. Oh, that was a bit unfortunate. And then we have the Sorceress. Uh-oh, he's gonna die. Oh, that's not great. Yeah, this is the Sheila minigame. Like, it's pretty, you just kind of hold right and jump. There are people, I believe Dylan, or it was either Dylan or Magpie that like practiced it like blind. They were just exit level. We're not guidebooking because we have to go get the egg behind the broken door, or the like cracked wall. So now here, we just go directly into Haunted Tomb, and normally there's a torch jump to get to the end of the level, because that's kind of typically what we try to do, like I said before, is just get to the end and then go backwards, because it solves a lot of our problems. But because we can just fly, we can just fly to the end. And this answer is an egg, it's not a bandicoot, for anyone wondering. Uh-oh, we're doing the slide. Normally you just would want to fly over that, but he hit the invisible wall, so... Ow. I guess he wanted to take a death. I think maybe he just cut that corner a bit too short. So he might need to pick up some lives here. Because he's a bit lower on lives than he should be. There's one life. What is that? What is that? What is that? I've never seen that before. What? What? Uh-oh. He's in a bad spot. So now we're gonna go do both tanks. I believe he does mouse and keyboard for these, maybe? I'm not sure if he... I know he does controller for the first section, but mouse and keyboard is usually used for the second one. Because mouse and keyboard allows for like a nice kind of controlling of the tank, and what you basically try to do is you try to shoot and then have the other tank like walk into it essentially by forcing him to go the other way. So as he's gonna shoot and then he's gonna make that tank kind of go the other way and just hit him as he moves. Missed one tank, which is just this one that he's gonna shoot, and then he's just gonna move to the right. Yeah, I think he might try to pick up a life in Dino Mines. I don't know really where there's one, but I think there's one moderately on the way. Something also that's interesting to note about Dino Mines is that it's actually good that he bombed because he forgot this egg. Dino Mines, how you get to the end area, like the end of level egg, is actually you can just normally like fly. And you can just fly and enter like the end area. But the guy won't turn around until you break the wall. But the issue is supercharge won't break the wall. So what he's actually going to do is he's going to go into the Dino Mines tunnel, which will take away his powers. He's not actually going to do Dino Mines, but... or like do the tunnel, but he'll just kind of break it. Then he can leave and break the wall. There, he's gonna just exit the area, and now he has normal charge and normal stuff, so he can actually break this wall. Jump, DrHouse! There, now we're going back to multi-crater. So now that we have those, we have way too many gems because it's insanely difficult to not pick up a bunch of gems. I believe here... Huh, interesting. I was gonna say, normally people take a death abuse here, because what it does is it gives you supercharge and makes the yellow thief insanely easy, because you have supercharge. Now the second one, normally you don't take a death abuse because you have supercharge anyways, so... Okay. He is gonna get lives. I don't know why. He doesn't really need lives anymore. There is a way you can get the thief kind of there. A bit earlier than Warehouse is going for it by doing kind of like a wider turn, but I don't know if he knows that strat. banger. This egg is super easy. Just break a wall. And then we're gonna go back. We have 99 eggs. Go back to Haunted Tomb. So the only thing with this is that he wanted to get that last egg right there, and then he you have to talk to Bianca. That's what triggers the portal. He did a fly and skip there. I'm pretty sure like that doesn't save time, but so this is Sorceress House. Normally kind of goes and chills behind Agent 9 on this outer ring, so she just keeps shooting. She doesn't like approach. And this, you know, we unfortunately, unlike OG, we can't like control the hits. So timing will come up on the final hits of Sorceress. Also, I'll say, but we don't want to just hit. Or we can't just like keep out a bunch of like vehicles like they do more so in OG, where you can use like, I think they want to use like the tank for a lot of it. We do 2 hits with the cannon, 3 hits with the tank, and then 5 hits with the UFO. It forces us into that. You also don't want to really be taking damage, because if you take damage, Agent 9 will shoot down fodder, and obviously that's slow. So here, there is some interesting strats here that you can kind of like go up and down like this, but this one, it's pretty tough to do. You got it. It's very difficult because sometimes she'll just start like hitting in place, and that's unfortunate that that's kind of the risk that you do with kind of doing that strat, is you risk kind of going to the lava. So unfortunately, like I said, there's a fodder because he took too much damage. But final hit, so timing will end right now. And yeah, that's the New Game Plus Trifecta that we wanted to show you today. The good old New Game Plus any percent into New Game Plus 40 orb into New Game Plus any percent. Just shows you a lot about all the games, other than Spyro 1, but Spyro 1's just like a funny game to look at because of how short it is with the dev portal.
Absolutely.
So I believe... I mean, I said... you want to introduce it?
I was gonna say, I was gonna see if House would be interested in doing an NG plus 2 any run. Strictly because we're pretty underestimate. If he doesn't want to, that's also perfectly fine, but just kind of a way to fill time a little bit. If House, if you're listening in, if you're interested in that, just shoot me a quick message or put one in the runner's channel.
He said he was down.
Okay, you already did that.
So I think he's gonna do it, yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, I guess we're gonna be going into a 2 New Game Plus any percent run, which
Another 7 minutes. 7-8 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He has to delete a save file, so I think he's thinking about which one. Okay, go. 3, 2, 1, go. By the way. Sorry. I'll continue, I guess, commentating this, but yeah. So this is 2 New Game Plus any percent. It's pretty, I guess, more so similar to any percent in Spyro 2, like normally, like OG. Oh, okay, so House has like a pretty bad height cap, but that's fine. So basically what we can do is we can actually just go... We can go directly to Crush because we have the ability to fly, so we can just fly into Crush. The issue comes with how can we get into Gulp, because there's not really, and I'm putting this in air quotes, real version of Gulp Skip in SRT. What there kind of is we have level storage. So we're just gonna deload a bunch of stuff. Because what we're gonna do is there's two different kinds of level storage. There's the level storage that we currently have, which is like the 10-minute level storage. And then there's the 30-second level storage where we haven't beaten the other levels, like the speedways. So we're gonna actually go deload our level storage, and then we're gonna go get 30-second level storage to deload the Gulp door, and then go do a bunch of stuff that way. So yeah, this is basically like what we saw before. We're just gonna be fighting Crush, and then we're just gonna do a bunch of even more shenanigans than we had done. Oh, luckily he got sheep manip, so we got 5 fodder there. So he's got a lot of opportunities to take all these damages. Basically, pretty similar, like I said, to what we saw in the New Game Plus 40 orb. And we can just go direct. You're gonna see how we kind of directly get into Rifto normally. With in any percent and stuff with the hype cap and whatnot. You're gonna shoot Rifto. Doesn't do anything in this one. It does. It gives you a skill point in the Gulp fight, but not in this fight. So now that we're here, we're going to go deload our level storage. But we're actually gonna probably warp back to Summer Forest now, or not. So I believe this file doesn't have them all done or something. Because that's basically what you have to do, is you have to do it. You have to do level storage in one that doesn't have it done. So he's just gonna go to Icy and just kind of deload it by entering and exiting. Because none of the stuff is here. But... oh, I see what he's gonna do. He's actually gonna do it on Canyon Speedway. That makes sense. So he's gonna use a 30-second timer of Canyon. I don't know if he has Canyon unlocked though. Because I don't think... well, Canyon should be unlocked because it's after, you know. Okay, missed the pause. This one's a bit tougher because it's not so much like Gulp and Crush if you're doing that for Imperfect Pause, where you fall down into a hole. You have to walk past a certain painting. I believe it's the second or third. I think it's the second painting that you walk past. And then you pause and exit level, and it'll put you out in front of Canyon Speedway. Instead of either. Okay, there you got it. So exit level. And he's gonna get put out in front of Canyon Speedway. And then he's gonna go back into the level, and then he's just gonna die in the level. And then he's just gonna wait until the end of the cutscene and quit retry. So he's back in the level now. And we're we get to watch some of this cutscene now. So you heard him there. If you heard him, he actually is dead right now, and the quick retry menu is up on the screen. So now he's just gonna wait, and you're gonna see it for like a split second, and then he's gonna spam retry.
Still, I promise.
I like that idea. Dragon,
You've just sealed your fate. So then he does that and retries. And now he doesn't have it, so this is good that he doesn't have it, so it just means he has to take the death. So technically, all of this that he's doing right now is not in the save file that he should be in. This is in a secondary save file because New Game Plus allows you to kind of go in between save files to do things like this. But now he's going to quit and go back to the original save file that he was doing it in. And then what he's going to do is he's going to go to Summer Forest, and then he's going to wait by like there's vortexes in Summer Forest and Autumn Plains and Winter Tundra that take you to each of the homeworlds. And he's gonna wait by one and enter it with like 1 or 2 seconds left, and then he's gonna spam he's gonna spam retry. Oh, well, he's really below the height cap. So this is him trying to fly, but he's below the height cap. So he's got 17 seconds to claim moneybags. Because basically he's gonna go into that Autumn Plains one. And then he enters, and then he spams retry as fast as he can. And what this does is it messes with the game. Oh, I've never seen this before. I think he went in with too little time, honestly. I think he has to go in with like maybe like a second or two more. Uh-oh, maybe soft locked. Okay, now we're good. Our height cap is still kind of jank right now, but alright, don't worry, your head will hurt more when you actually see what it looks like when he comes out. I'm pretty sure he entered too late. Now let's see what happens. So, okay, yeah, now he got teleported to Autumn Plains and he's in the ground. But now, because he did that, he actually, things in this level aren't loaded properly. So, he can just run to the end, and the Gulp door and like the Shady Oasis door isn't loaded, and Icy isn't there, and that door isn't there, like, nothing's here. You just gotta go into the Gulp. So now he's in Gulp.
Go.
And now what he does is he can beat Gulp in 30 seconds because he obviously has supercharge and stuff. So he can beat Gulp pretty quickly. But then he has to get into Ripto in 30 seconds, which, so he has to get into Ripto by doing height cap break, which, as I explained a bit earlier, but I'll explain again. You basically hold up, slightly up, the slightest up input you've ever held on the left stick, and press down on the D-pad for like a second, and then you hold the left stick input, and what it'll do is it'll make the game think that you're flying downwards when you're actually flying upwards, and it won't apply the height cap to you. So that's how we get into Ripto. So he's past the height cap now. If he releases that left stick input, he's gonna fly back down really quickly. But he's gonna get past this wall, and then he's just gonna go directly into Ripto's hallway, and then we go fight Ripto. But thing though is now is he has the 30-second level storage, so he can't beat Ripto in 30 seconds. So he has to go back to that other save file and deload level storage, and then come back and fight Ripto. Normally, you would have to also then go and like get level storage again, but because we have Fireball, we can just boom, 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 Fireball him. So timing will kind of end on the final hit to Ripto, which will be on the third phase, which I'll yeah, we're very, very close to being done. So we went and deloaded it by entering Canyon again, and now we're back into Ripto, and then this should be fairly quick. We have Fireball, so he's not going to run away and stuff. For some reason, it looks really dark there, and I don't know why. Probably just because of all the level storage shenanigans. Now we're on phase 3, and timing ends on the final hit. I'll call it, but... So this is kind of, like I said, what you want your first kind of 5-6 hits to look like. You can get them pretty... You might get him there, yeah. You can sometimes get an early hit on this last kind of 2 hits, but unfortunately you miss that. Oh, this should be fine. Time. And that is Spyro 2 New Game Plus any %. That's why House didn't really want to show it, because it's a mess of a category. It is really silly. You deload level storage 2 times, you get a bunch of level storage. Like, it's just a mess, but it's funny. So we're gonna obviously go and do the Tunnel of Love again, just for the last little bit of the Tunnel of Love. Everybody get your guesses in. I'm saying it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be a Colossus guy.
If it's not Fractal's fun, I'm rioting. Alrighty, so that was DrHouse with the NG Plus Trifecta. Essentially, we actually did do the NG Plus Trifecta, just in addition to an NG Plus 40-orb run.
Fractal's fun.
Oh, baby, let's go. We're not rioting. We're pogging in the chat. But yeah, that was House. Randy, thank you so much for stepping in for commentary, and also for stepping up and doing that extra run, House, and also you commentating that, of course, as well. We're going to take a quick intermission for about 5 to 10 minutes here while we get Wally set up to do the all money bags payments for OG Spyro 2 and Enter the Dragonfly. So sit tight, and we'll see you there.